Once there was a man named Tom. He lived with his wife, Lisa, their two sons, John and Mike, and their only daughter, Lily. John was in class 6, Lily in class 5, and Mike in class 3. Mike was very naughty. He loved to play tricks and didn't listen to anyone. John and Lily were calm and sensible. Tom and Lisa often told Mike to behave, but he never listened. One evening, Mike came into the kitchen.
Mom, the ice cream cart is at the corner. I want a chocolate ice cream,
he said, excited. Lisa smiled and gave him some money.
Okay. But don't run. Walk carefully.
But Mike was already out the door, running. Lisa shook her head and smiled.
This boy never listens,
she said softly. Suddenly, she heard a loud car horn. Then people started shouting outside. Lisa's heart sank. Her smile faded. She whispered,
Oh no. Mike is out.
She rushed out of the house. A small crowd had gathered on the street. Just then, John came running toward her. His face was pale.
Mom!
He cried. Lisa's voice shook.
What happened? Where's Mike?
John began to cry.
Mom! He was hit by a car.
Lisa's heart dropped. She and John ran to the crowd. There, on the road, Mike was lying still. Blood was on his head and leg. Lisa screamed,
Mike!
She quickly picked him up and rushed to the hospital. John took out his phone with shaking hands.
Dad!
He said, trying not to cry.
Please come to the hospital. Mike had an accident.
Tom's voice dropped.
What? I'm coming.
He reached the hospital soon. His face filled with fear. After the treatment, some hours later, Mike slowly opened his eyes. His right leg was in a cast. Lisa and Tom sat beside him. John stood close, watching quietly. Lisa held Mike's hand gently.
Dear, you'll be fine soon,
she said softly. Mike looked at his leg and frowned.
Mom, my leg?
Lisa smiled a little.
It's just a small fracture, sweetheart. The doctor will take off the cast after a few days. Then you'll walk again.
Mike nodded slowly. Tom leaned down and kissed his forehead. 2 days later, Mike was discharged from the hospital. At home, Lily ran to him and hugged him tight.
I missed you. I kissed you a lot while you were sleeping.
Mike smiled. After a few days, the doctor removed his cast. Mike stood up and tried to walk. But his steps were uneven. He limped.
Mom! My leg! I can't walk right.
Mike said, his eyes wide. Lisa and Tom looked at each other but said nothing. They hid their tears. John and Lily stood quietly, trying not to cry. Lisa hugged him tightly.
Dear, You'll get better with time.
But deep inside, Mike knew. He couldn't walk like before. Tears rolled down his cheeks. After that, he stopped eating properly. He stayed quiet. But slowly, in the next few days, he began to accept it. He became strong. One morning, Mike got ready for school. He sat quietly at the table. His face was sad. Everyone tried to smile. But they were sad too. After breakfast, they left for school. Soon, they reached the school gate. When Mike walked into the classroom, all his classmates turned to look. They saw him limping. No one said anything, but their eyes were wide. Then Archie stood up and came to him.
Hey, I heard you got hurt. And now you limp.
Mike's eyes filled with tears. He looked down. Before Mike could say anything, his friend Anthony stepped forward.
So what? That doesn't matter.
He said firmly. Archie gave a sneaky smile and walked back to his seat. Mike sat down quietly on his seat. Mike felt very sad that day. When he came home, he ran to Lisa and hugged her tight. He cried a lot. Lisa held him close and wiped his tears.
You have to be brave, dear.
She said softly. Mike nodded, still sniffling. One Sunday, Mike said,
Let's play in the lawn.
Lily looked at him and said,
But how can you play? You limp now.
Mike's smile faded. He turned and went to his room. John looked at Lily.
That wasn't nice.
He said quietly. She looked down and walked to Mike's room.
Come on, Mike.
She said gently.
Let's bake cookies together.
Mike looked at her, smiled.
Okay.
They went into the kitchen and started baking. Mike laughed as he mixed the dough. Lisa stood at the door and watched them. She smiled. One day, Tom took Mike to see a physiotherapist. The doctor, Mr. Simon, looked at Mike and said,
We'll start sessions.
The sessions began the next week. Mike worked hard. He followed all the exercises. After 6 months, Mike could walk straight again. One evening, everyone was sitting in the lounge. Mike walked across the room, smiling.
Mom! Look! I can walk straight now.
Lisa's eyes filled with tears. She ran to him and hugged him tight. Tom, John, and Lily came closer and hugged him too. They all smiled, full of joy. Moral: listen to your parents before it's too late.